Hey, deserving listeners, let's watch 90 Day Fiancé the other way, the episode from this week. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. As I always say, don't use YouTube as a replacement for therapy. If you need a therapist, get one. You deserve it. Let's watch.
I thought it's going to take up a time, but you know that like now it's here, as you can get married. Now the nervous thing, like cold feet is starting.
Yeah, so we saw some hints of that last week where upon given that the parents are no longer stand in the way, and Jenny was like, okay, great, now we can get married. And someone was like, yeah. And what I think a lot of viewers are interpreting that is that he doesn't want to marry her. And I think it's more complicated than that. I mean, do we really think that he doesn't want to be with Jenny? I mean, he's stuck this out for almost 10 years. I think he wants to be with Jenny. Now, maybe he's changed his mind more recently, but I mean, think of all the stuff he's been through and how easy it would have been for him to just, I mean, he could have not been with Jenny and been divorced, you know? So anyway, either he changed his mind, which I don't think is likely. I think more likely is there's a lot of overwhelming implications about getting married. He is, potentially actually worried for what the parents have been talking about, which is ostracization from the community and from the culture. Maybe even, he could even have a bit of PTSD. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. He was being threatened with suicide and other kinds of, I think even going to prison. I think I remember him saying that his ex-wife, the family was going to trump up a bunch of false charges against him and put him in jail. So the threshold of actually officially being with Jenny might be a very scary thing for him, of just like, what could happen to us? What could happen to me and my family if I actually officially cross that threshold? Like, is everyone okay with this? Because I don't know if everyone is. The other thing is there's a difference between a long-term relationship and getting married, and maybe he just he's been burned once, right? That his first marriage didn't go well, so maybe he's just like, it just has an association with that kind of thing. Maybe he's a little unsure about committing, fully to her. I could also see a situation where, due to his complicated relationship with his mom, that he's a little worried about being officially tied to someone else for fear of being harmed by them in the future or something, even though I don't think Jenny is really like that. There's a variety of things. He could also worry that, okay, my parents are saying they're not going to stand in my way, but they're also not giving my, their blessing, which means that if I do marry her, what does that mean? Does that mean like they're not going to talk to me anymore? And a lot of people in the comments section, not everyone, are saying things like, well, who cares what the parents think, that kind of thing. And I think that's easy for some people to say. For others, particularly from certain cultures, it is a huge deal to displease your parents, even if they're being irrational. So, I think there's a lot of other reasons besides that he doesn't actually love her that would result in him having cold feet. But maybe we'll find out.
Because the time which I spent in my last marriage and the time I spent fighting for divorce was very bad. Like, it was very hard for me. Like,
I know you're scared, okay, but it's normal. It's a normal thing. Everything is going to be...
Okay, so we heard what his hesitation is about, according to him, at least one of the factors. It's that he's saying that his last divorce was really hard for him, and so it makes him a little scared to get married again. Okay, yeah, I could see that. Because we weren't there, right, when he was getting married, because he hid it from the production crew. That seems to you, as a production crew, you'd be able to look up that information, but anyway. So he, he's with Jenny. He's in love with Jenny. He wants to be with Jenny. The family forces him to marry this other person. And there was a build-up to that, right? And he, it's interesting to think of like what he was going through at that time. Is he just like, okay, I'll just stick my head in the sand and I'll just agree to everything? Or was he thinking, well, maybe I can make this work. Maybe I can make the marriage work, but not actually be really married, and I'll still be with Jenny. But anyway, we don't really know what he went through, but he might have been through quite a thing. The build up to the marriage itself, I think it was 2 years, the divorce itself, all the pain that he put everyone through. And for, because of what he did. He put everyone through so much pain. Him, his ex-wife, the ex-wife's family, his family, Jenny, everyone hated him in the world because he did that. And so maybe for him, he's just like, well, but everything's safe right now. And maybe if I just keep everything the same, sometimes people can be like that. The other possibility is that he's just saying that as a proxy for a bigger, more difficult hesitation that he has that he doesn't want to share. Something like maybe he is ambivalent about the relationship itself. Let's watch.
It happened like that where you will decide that I want to go, then I have to go through something which I'm scared of. I'm frankly telling you, I'm scared of. Yeah. Or you can say that I'm scared of marriages. I don't want to be a part of any marriage. I don't want to go to court. I'm scared of that.
Okay, so he's bringing up another factor that sometimes you get mad at me and you threaten to leave. Now, the times that we've seen, it's justified, seemingly, because of his lying and his inaction towards following through with what he says he's going to do. But, from his perspective, he's like, she's threatening me. I think there's a pretty easy way to avoid those threats. Just marry her and live the rest of your life with her. So there's that.
Like from top to bottom, it's shivering, shaking. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not getting the perfect words to explain it.
No, I understand you.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched you go through hell, and that broke my heart.
This is great. So Jenny, instead of focusing on, hey, you're hesitating, so often on the show, you'll see this, like, you're hesitating about marrying me, you don't love me, and then attack and hurt and, drama. And instead, she just empathizes. She's differentiated. She's like, okay, that kind of hurt. This kind of hurts that he's hesitating about marrying me, but he's also being vulnerable. And how can I have empathy? How do I extend myself into his shoes? And she's doing that, which is great.
Divorce changed me as a person I was before, and now it's like there's a big difference. So right now,
What happened, baby? What happened, baby? What's happened?
So he's about to cry. Have we seen this before from him? And Jenny's being really great. Just, hey, what's going on? And that's, we see a lot of responses, don't cry. I can't believe you're manipulating me with your crying. Stop it. Let's be happy. Jenny is just like, what's going on? And because he's trying not to cry, I think. And what I'd tell him if I were with him is just like, let it out. You got something down there. Let it out.
It's okay. Talk about it. You need to.
me you are the only person in my life, and like I don't want to lose you.
You never will.
You hear me talk about primary emotions, speaking from the heart. Don't convert it into anger. Speak from, what's really happening. And for him, he is saying what a lot of people, I think, are experiencing, which is, I don't want to lose you. It's terrifying to think about losing you. And that gives her, instead of pushing her away or accusing her of something or avoiding or being passive-aggressive, just speaking right from that place, being corny, if you will. And then, as I will call it sometimes, and for, well, not what I would recommend this to clients. They would say, that's kind of corny. And I'd be like, well, if being healthy is being corny, then be corny. And it gives Jenny the opportunity to rise to the occasion. She does. She's like, yeah, you won't lose me. You won't. It's, if Ari and Biniam could talk this way.
I'm not going anywhere. You can't get rid of me if you tried. I love you so much. I love you just more than anything. And don't worry. Don't have any doubt in your mind about me. Okay? I will always be the best for you. I will always love you.
And I think there's where this is coming from, because this is in the context of what he's talking about, is there have been times in the past, I'm hesitating about marrying you because there were times in the past when you would be yelling at me and saying you're going to go back home and you're going to leave me. And I'm terrified about losing you. And I'm terrified about making that commitment and then you leaving me. That cuts to the core of his hesitancy, I think. I think this is, the true, and then it gives her the opportunity to address that directly, which she's doing. I think this might work for him.
person I have in my life. Like Jenny is my family, Jenny is my friend, Jenny is my love, Jenny is everything to me. Jenny is the one I talk with, Jenny is the one I hang out with, shop with, eat, drink, party, everything with Jenny. And if I lose somebody like that, then I don't know like where I gonna end up with.
So that's great. Sometimes we hear different things along these lines, and every culture is different, every couple is different, but for them, they're together all the time, particularly, I guess, during the pandemic, maybe that was true. But anyway, he's like, everything. That's, she's my best friend. We hang out together, we shop together, we do everything together. And it would, kill me to lose her. She's my everything. She's the only thing I have. It kind of sounds like. And I wish he had more people in his life. That'd be fine. But, it sounds like their relationship is really rich, and it scares him to lose her. And he's speaking from the heart in that very differentiated, mature, non-toxic, masculine way.
I know I love you. You know I love you.
I'm not happy to hear that Sumit's afraid to get married to me, but I understand his fear. I know how traumatic Sumit's first marriage and divorce was. I mean, it's only natural that Sumit might feel some anxiety, some fears about getting married again.
And great. I mean, there's so many things that are happening well here. And it just breaks my heart that they weren't allowed to get married years ago. Like, I've been saying this from the beginning. It's like the Jenny and Sumit because these reality TV shows, they always focus on a problem that the couple is facing. And often it's a compatibility problem or a conflict problem or a cheating problem or personality disorder problem or something. But with this couple, I've been saying from the beginning, the only problem they suffer from is weird disapproval from the outside that makes no sense to me culturally. Like, two adults who love each other and want to be together, and for no other reason other than the fact that she's of a different age than him, complete no-go. And not only just disapproval, but like threats and, all sorts of horrible things, suicide threats. So it's like, if they could just get away from that and get married, they won't be on the show anymore because they don't have any problems. They communicate very well. They're pretty, there are times, particularly with him, that he would resort to lying and that kind of thing. But I think when he's not backed up into a corner, he's not at risk of that. He's not just doesn't lie about just everything. So, and they're showing us in this moment that they have a lot of love for each other and that they can speak from the heart and take care of each other, have empathy. She's saying, yeah, I get it, and she's like, yeah, it doesn't feel good that he's hesitating to marry me, but I totally understand where he's coming from. I mean, that was traumatic to go through that.
Kind and sweet, but it was not like that. Once I was married, my ex-wife wanted to change a lot of things about me in my daily life, like my work, my behavior, my habits. I'm worried that after marriage, Jenny will also become domineering.
I understand you've been married and
Okay, interesting. He's saying he's worried, in this, he didn't tell Jenny this explicitly, that he's worried about getting married because he's worried about Jenny becoming domineering. And we've seen a little bit of that. Jenny has an explosive rage that she's capable of. And on one hand, you could say, well, it's understandable. The things that, when you think about the incidences that we saw her being extremely angry, it's like after years and years of frustration and being lied to, and you could imagine getting really angry. It doesn't justify the rage and the throwing of a chair and that kind of thing. But we don't know. Behind the scenes, maybe she can be domineering. Maybe she can be rageful and scary. I don't think so. At least I don't think it's that much. I don't think it's that significant. And I think that, if anything, Sumit is projecting, or he's distorting, he's transferring and displacing based on his own mom. Because sometimes Jenny will be exhibiting, I think, normal reactivity, and he'll be like, calm down, you're freaking out. And it's like, no, she should be freaking out based on what's happening right now. And I think that he grew up in a family, I don't know, but he sort of said that the dad confirmed this, that the mom was frequently having irrational emotional outbursts, and everyone was there saying, calm down, everyone calm down. Seeing maybe even women in particular as being overly emotional and irrational. And so my suspicion is that he is distorting Jenny's, occasionally crossing the line under somewhat understandable circumstances as being domineering and out of control.
Jenny is a totally different person.
Even though Jenny is not controlling or domineering right now, but still the fear is there. Like maybe she's gonna change and start controlling. You can't go there. No, you cannot go to work. Why you need to go outside?
Oh, interesting. Maybe I had it wrong. But what he's saying is she's not necessarily very domineering, but what if she becomes that once she gets married to me? Maybe he has seen things in Jenny, or he just has seen things in other marriages, or he feels like he'll be trapped and he won't have a way of getting out, and that's this sort of a paranoia that's kicking in. Yeah, that's interesting. And I don't think Jenny would be that way. Plus, the two of you spend all your time together, so what's she going to complain about, really? You know?
Marriage is like it's a jail for me now. Now you got married and you have to do everything according to your wife.
You have your love strong enough.
Yeah, exactly. We are like in love together. We are like most happy right now. You can say that. This is the best life I'm living right now.
Right. I think that's another factor. Is like, we're most in love right now. This is the best life I'm living right now. What if I make a change and it gets worse? You know, I can't imagine it getting better. It would just be like a continuation of this right now. But that's not true, right? Because if he doesn't marry her when he can marry her now, Jenny will be very hurt and it'll degrade the relationship. So hopefully he makes the right choice here for his own sake.
I'm living with her completely fine. I'm doing great.
I don't know. I think you're confused, totally confused. Telling me that you're happy being with Jenny, and now you're telling me that you're scared of getting married. I think you need a psychiatrist. To be honest.
Yeah, amen. All of the cast members need everyone. All you need a therapist. I need a therapist. Everyone needs a therapist. 100%.
You should be happy. This is the best thing ever happened in your life, what you've been waiting for. Bro, marriage is what, bro? You guys are living already together. But she has got visa problem, of course, she is always worried about. So just do it. Just simply do it.
I'm guessing this guy is going to be the hero of everyone watching because he's saying what everyone wants to say to Sumit right now. So, yeah, he's the hero of this episode.
He filled up the form for the marriage and he said, no problem, I can file it right now. Like, I was not ready for the filing first. When we just done with the meeting at night, I just called a lawyer. I asked him to hold, don't file for the marriage.
Yikes. Sumit. Oh my goodness. Did you tell Jenny? It sounds like you did that behind Jenny's back. Sumit. It's fine that you had cold feet. You could have been like, I'm having cold feet. But tell Jenny. I need to pull back on that thing. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. Yikes.
Does Jenny know about it?
No, he don't know about it.
Now, you again, doing something wrong because that will break her trust.
Yes, obviously. Come on, Sumit. Oh, Sumit, why? No, okay, maybe you'll fix it. It'll be like, okay, I'm convinced. Gung-ho, let's go. All's well that ends well. He can turn this around before Jenny finds out, but she'll find out because she watches the show. But it'll be after they're married and everything's fine. I can hope for that.
And you just being a jerk.
I didn't tell Jenny that I put the marriage on hold because I didn't want to hurt her, because I know that she want to marry as soon as possible.
People, stop lying to avoid having a conversation. You're lying to avoid having a conversation. I didn't want to tell her that I pulled back the marriage because I didn't want her to be upset. What? I didn't tell her I poisoned her dinner because I didn't want her to not eat her dinner. What are you doing? But we've seen it before. He catfished her. He lied for years about not being married to another person. This is pathological lying. This is and we call it pathological because it's both compulsive and it'll shoot the liar in the foot. You know, we've all lied, and if we're not pathological about it, we will lie when we think we can get away with it. You know, someone says, I didn't see you at work the other day. Were you there? And you're like, yeah, I was there. You know, we lie. People lie. But I don't recommend it. You know, there's a lot easier way to live in truth. But when pathological liars lie, they're lying compulsively, without thinking, without evaluating the situation. And it always shoots them in the foot, which he has done multiple times. And he's doing it again. Maybe this is his last hurrah in the pathological lying front before getting married.
If she's gonna hear that I put the marriage on hold, that she's gonna get mad, she's gonna get hurt, and I don't want to do that.
I'm always here if you really want to talk to me, no problem at all. But rather than talking to me, you should first talk to Jenny about it.
Yeah, this hero has all the right things to say, and the emotionality to fit. He is saying all the right things. Let's see if Sumit can turn it around.
What if she would start like telling me that you don't want to marry me?
She'll be mad.
Yeah, that's
She'll
what
be
I'm
mad.
saying.
If I were her, I would have been mad as well. She'll be pissed. Of course, you should speak to Jenny about it straight away. Yeah?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know how she's gonna react.
So I'm utterly confused because on one hand, he seems 100% like he wants to marry her. On the other hand, all his behavior, that lends itself to like some hidden motivation that he's not revealing. Or his worries are bigger than he's saying. Now, is he just saying, look, I just needed a couple more months to adjust to this idea. Dude, you've had 10 years, but okay, fine, you know? Or I need some reassurances that you're not going to become dominant over me. Or I need some reassurances that or I don't know, just something. Or is he just like, he's never wanted to marry her? And then you have to wonder, did he choose Jenny partially because he knew he could never marry? You know, some people will choose people that are not available, right? They'll choose married people, or they'll choose people who aren't really into them because in a self-sabotaging way, they will bond with people that they know will never cross that threshold into marriage. Did he choose Jenny because he knew no one would let him marry her? And that's where he likes to be. And now that he can marry her, he's like, no, I subconsciously, I never wanted that for some reason. And the only thing I can think of is it's a feeling of claustrophobia that he might have felt with his mom. I don't know though.
It's really scary to even think about it when I'm gonna tell Jenny that I'm not ready for the marriage right now. This could spoil our future, this could spoil our relationship. It could be the end of the relationship, and I don't want that to be happen.
It has to be transparent.
Or is he more ambivalent about the relationship in general, and he's using this as a way of pushing her away from him? I think that's a viable option here too. Like, why would you do this? Like, there's so many other ways. It's been almost 10 years. I think it's maybe been longer than 10 years. So that would explain it, that he has, for a time, either recently or a long time, been very ambivalent about wanting to be with Jenny forever. And he is either subconsciously sabotaging himself to that end, or he consciously knows that he doesn't actually want to marry her. And people will do this. You know, they'll chicken out of facing it head on, and they'll cheat, or they will be passive aggressive, or they will be distant, hoping that the other person will just break up with them. Is that what he's doing? It's shockingly common that people will do that because of relational trauma reasons, but uncool. It's sort of like a reverse ghosting in a way.
Just come clean to her, all right? Everyone gets nervous, but it's not about you only. It's about you and Jenny. So talk about it to Jenny, and I think you guys should get married as soon as possible.
All right, well, that is it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.